Our space fam shuffling in to the house, to the ship. My head is spinning. I've been listening to Dan Winter for 2 days now, and holy shit, I have a lot of thoughts. Make sure you got that 4K turned on. Let me know if you can hear me okay. It sounds clear. Am I too loud? Just let me know. We got a crispy, waning gibbous moon, somewhere around 90%. We got a rum Vorax coming in first. Is that dope electric vibe chin channel? Hell yeah. Got Easy E, what's happening? Good evening. 10:28 Eastern. 4/17/22, April 17th. Coming up on a big week. Got lots of stuff to do, but tonight we're gonna hang out. Yeah, so I had a lot of thoughts on this Dan Winter stuff. I'm not sure if anyone has watched his videos, but it definitely got me thinking about some topics that I hadn't thought about in a while. Topics like that involve, ufology, Egyptian technology, all the ancient alien stuff, but not like History Channel ancient aliens, but the seed race, the Anunnaki, the Nassim Haramein was brought up, secret space program stuff, and I remember spending tons and tons of time Yo, what's going on, Dave? Welcome. Yeah, so, but what's crazy is that this guy, Dan Winter, who has, 33,000 followers on his YouTube channel, so I don't know how I missed this guy, but some of the stuff he's talking about is so particular to what I've been talking about. Now, granted, I'm sure he's been talking about it for longer. It seems like he's been talking about this for a very long time. So it's these coherent longitudinal waves, which really I've drawn on this channel a bunch of times. The way the eye works, the way perception works, the way consciousness works, with these interference patterns between different like gravity wave bubbles. So in terms of, he's this electrical engineer slash theoretician slash ufologist and multi-talented. He's a brilliant guy, definitely, absolutely brilliant. And so he's so convinced about all this stuff, and from what I've heard so far, the math and all the stuff he talks about in terms of electric universe and coherent fields, and it's all in perfect alignment with Ken Wheeler and electric universe and stuff that I believe in, that I've talked about, the stuff that Buddy Dougherty talks about, these kind of nested fractal shapes that are emergent. But what Dan Winter has done is he's gone even further into explaining all the math behind it and explaining the gravitational array, which essentially is the spiral this conical shape that emerges from the center of these fundamental geometric shapes. So the hourglass, or the hypotrochoid that I've talked about, are these two pine cones, so to speak, or conical shapes meeting at a point in the center. And at that center point, this creates, I still have to learn a lot more and watch a bunch more, but apparently this is how you create this coherent longitudinal waves. And these technologies, certain technologies based on this, are things like traveling through wormholes and stargates and portals and anti-gravitic. And so it kind of, for a lot of years, I avoided talking about that stuff. What's up, Dagger Spells? Welcome, much love. Good to see you. I'm starting off here because I figure people will watch this again, but I'll talk a lot more about it. But did we lose the moon entirely? What's going on? oh yeah, we did lose. It's all clouds. It's like, what the hell? And now I moved it out of frame. So I'll be right back. We'll let some more people come in, but I definitely have some thoughts about it, because I had shelved talking about ufology for a long time, because I thought, all right, electric universe paradigm fundamentally explains ufology from a standpoint of humans can do all that tech, and our mythology and ancestry could have been all astronomy. But then this guy Dan Winter, man, totally kind of got me thinking all about these other things again, because he is so versed and so has brilliantly outlined the mathematics behind all the stuff that I do believe in. But he's also absolutely convinced that there's a galactic federation, all the stuff that Drumvillo Melchizedek talks about. I mean, I've read and studied all this stuff, but for a lot of years I was just like, no way, no Nassim Haramein, no Drumvillo Melchizedek, no UFOs, just like pure plasma physics, what's going on there. But yeah, definitely got me thinking. So I'm going to talk about that tonight, play some jams. I see Astralis coming in, Purple Heart, love it. All right, so let me go and see if I moved away from the moon. It's still rising right here. It's going to be a beautiful night to just chat with everyone, so let's settle in for the ride. Yo, Genghis Khan, welcome, welcome. I see Falling Awake. What's going on? Welcome, Andrew Johnson. Evening. Nice to see you. So yeah, let's chat a little bit. We got a steady moon coming up over the trees in the east. Definitely southeast tonight. And beautiful cloud movement. I love this phase. You get these kind of rolling dark clouds, but then some of those orange highlights. So I started off the show just quickly talking about Dan Winter. So if you type in Dan Winter, coherent fields or stargates, you'll find Dan Winter. And I just, a word of caution, he definitely talks about ufology and aliens and stargates and portals. So if you're not into that, don't go check it out. But he also talks about coherent longitudinal waves and field theory in a way that I've really never heard anyone talk about it extremely competently from an electrical engineering standpoint. And he articulates stuff that I've been wanting to articulate for a long time. I have to watch maybe 20, 30 more of his videos 100 times to really be able to exactly reiterate what he's saying. But it definitely supports and validates and shows a lot more even detail that I haven't really considered when I've shown these diagrams of toroidal hypertrochoid overlays, when I've talked about with Buddy Dougherty on the Electric View and that crew, talking about how fields work. Also stuff that Ken Wheeler talks about in terms of centripetal and centrifugal forces, in terms of magnetic fields. So I would definitely recommend, if you're interested in that sort of stuff. He talks really fast, but he's absolutely brilliant. And so he got me thinking, hey, what's up, Rain Song? Long time. It's been a while. Welcome. Yeah, so I guess our clouds. Let me go adjust the camera for a moment. Oh, is it really that dark? There we go. That's going to be super bright when it clears up. But yeah, so Dan Winter kind of blew my mind. And also he's been around for a while, and they do these live streams, these Zoom calls, a lot like the Electric View stuff. And I just can't believe I either wasn't recommended him before, or I just didn't stumble across it till this week. But definitely stirred my memory. He explains in a lot of detail the stuff that I used to think about and still think about in terms of the pineal gland, in terms of conjugate geometry, in terms of the spin, the Birkeland filament, he explains how optics work mathematically in terms of a ratio of, I think, phi times the golden mean times the speed of light or something like that. I don't want to misinterpret it, but I'm going to watch it a bunch more times and try and re-explain it. But visually, it looks like these conical structures, these spirals that emanate from the center of these shapes and the inertial plane. But it goes further than that. He explains how pyramids work in terms of power stations and fills in a lot of gaps that I used to consider, the potential use of pyramids being power stations, but not really understanding how that would actually work. And he goes into detail on that and how that might have been constructed in terms of crystals, in terms of usage of the wasp scepter and the jet pillar, and how they resonated crystals through the shafts around the pyramids, and why the shape of the pyramid was the way it is, in order to create coherent longitudinal gravity waves, which allow you to center the energy of the universe into a coherent wormhole, an Einstein-Rosen bridge. And what he proposes, and many in the circle believe completely, is that this is how stargates work, and that Orion is one of them. We've looked at the Orion Nebula before. And that these are actually portals to other places in the galaxy, in the solar system, using this quantum tunneling. And he explains stargates And it's just a ton of information that I just sat and listened to for hours and hours and hours the past few days. And I've been thinking about it, and I just want to come on tonight and talk a little bit about some of these topics and how the fact that he's so brilliant about field theory that I really want to give these, I don't know why, but he explains these stargates and portals and Anunnaki and seeding races and intergalactic federation and all the stuff that I'd really moved away from for a lot of years. If you all follow the show, you know that I just didn't want to entertain the idea of UFOs being from another solar system or from Alpha Centauri because of the idea that aliens just wouldn't mess with the people of Earth and cloak and decloak. And I just wanted to not think about aliens from that context, like waiting for disclosure or waiting for something to happen. But it is pretty fascinating that this guy Dan Winter, given that he explains a lot of the phenomenon that I really do love and believe is completely true in terms of creating these nodal points, this array in our field, and this is the way we see and hear and interact with the field using these coherent tunneling systems that emanate from our nodal, from our eyes and from our brain, our heart. And then it also brings in the human biofield, right, which Eileen McCusick talks about, and grounding and electrical connections. I know that there's no moon on screen right now, but it should clear up in a second, I think. So I'm just going to keep talking. Let's see. Yeah, so I don't know if anyone in the chat has listened to Dan Winter or actually goes and just checks out any of the recent videos and has comments, and we can talk about it on my next shows. That would be really fun. Again, he could be a total nut job, but I really listened to it for a bunch of hours, and the guy is absolutely brilliant in the context that of electrical engineering, but also just in terms of tying everything together and explaining these. What he was talking about, this other thing about how the cathedral, it comes from cathode and catharsis, and he explained, there's this whole layering of numerology and linguistics that I used to be super into early on, like 2014, 2015, kind of also strayed away from, even though I absolutely believe that the geometry that we see on the moon and in the solar system is also represented in our language, and likely the wave fronts that emerge from our mouth also look like the language that we're speaking, and the sonic wave fronts also look like that. So this recursive geometrical symmetry is something that I absolutely believe is true. So him being that way and explaining that really makes me want to kind of take another look at this idea that that we have had, actually extraterrestrial visits. I'm not changing my tune just yet, but I don't know why, it was a really pivotal moment this week listening to him talk about it and thinking, with this technology being as such, it definitely, could be possible. So here we go. There's the moon. So what do y'all think? Should I talk more about it? Or should we play some tunes and watch this beautiful moon? Look at that. It's crazy cool. I got really inspired. So even if even if the alien stuff is just a little far-fetched, but I don't even know if it's far-fetched. I mean, he was talking about stargates and portals in terms of how the way we visualize it is from movies, but he also explained that in the movie how these symbols and letters were arranged, this alphabet was arranged around the ring. He explains what the portal really is, this kind of thin membrane of liquefaction at the point where these wave fronts, these gravity waves meet. And so in the movie Stargate and the series, you have the kind of the watery portal, so to speak, where you put your finger in and then instantly you're transported to the other side of the portal. And this, can be talked about from quantum entanglement, from quantum tunneling, Einstein-Rosen bridge, wormholes, and there are a lot of different names for it, but in a sense, it basically means that this liquefied, flattened shape within a ring, within a dodecahedral array, creates this kind of quantum, this coherent, coherent longitudinal gravity wave. And along that, you can travel, so to speak, you can go from one point to another. Just like we have IP addresses on our computers, if you know the other IP address, you can connect to it instantly. And still on the topic of pyramids, he was talking about how the pyramids essentially resonated with other pyramids around the world and created a world energy grid. And that again also doesn't sound too far-fetched. I used to think that part of the Ancient Aliens story made a lot of sense in terms of our ancestors were actually highly capable and created advanced technology of their own accord. Now, there's also the story that this technology was also handed down from races and seeded on Earth by other galactic civilizations, which, you know, I struggle to say I totally believe in that because it's hard to see proof. But then again, the technology really does work that way. So anyway, this guy got me really kind of in a spiral, in a tizzy. So I'm going to keep watching, keep thinking about it, but definitely learned a ton more about this idea of foci, or focal points. And I've talked about it. How do we see anything? So our eyes send out this coherent longitudinal wave vector into the field, and the field resonates with that coherent tunnel. And that's how we actually bring in articulated light that we see as shapes of things. So, and he says this, so that's what's so cool about Dan Winter is, like, I was waiting for him to kind of say something that completely turned me off, but he didn't. He kept saying things like, yeah, but this is actually how we sense and perceive things. And that to me is very rare, because that's what I like to say, which is this real, like, applying physics to metaphysics, applying physics to these grand concepts we have. And I love that. So he's this kind of, yeah, just brilliant guy, absolutely. You can tell I very rarely talk about, well, I was talking about Pierre-Marie Robitaille from that standpoint, because he's also damn genius. Astralis says, he's been more popular lately. I should watch, but all legit, I think. I do. I didn't feel like I wanted to turn it off at all throughout. I mean, he does speak rapidly, and he sort of interrupts people, but man, he's got a lot to say, and every talk pretty much is packed with information for me, in the sense that, like, I speak to y'all in a way that's interpreting these very grandiose ideas of quantum mechanics and field geometry and all this stuff. I try and explain it from the standpoint of just being regular people and trying to communicate it simply. Because when you listen to him, it's very hard to kind of understand and follow along with every word. But I felt proud of myself, because I was listening to him, I was like predicting a couple of things he was about to say in terms of centripetal and centrifugal forces, a la Ken Wheeler. And then he also talked about these conical wavefronts and these spirals, and how elements emerge from these oscillations along this gravitational array. Talked about how to achieve a perfect death, which is a whole other thing. This idea of lucid dreaming, dream state, these brain waves and oscillations and tonics, and how that relates to membranes. It's pretty fascinating, because I've never really considered that even if, let's say we're living in these bubbles, our entire universe is on the surface of a bubble. And then there are bubbles that emanate above our universe and below our universe. And this started making me really consider something that I hadn't thought before, because and even with my perspective on things, I'm probably myopic to the fact that I'm just trying to explain what we see here on Earth. But if you imagine that everything is this shape, then our universe itself is also on a membrane with different layers, like an onion skin layer, and going and radiating, oscillating in the same way that everything small and large is also oscillating. So pretty profound. Oh man, Buddy Doggerty, great to see you. Yes, Dan Winter is one of the best. I can't believe I missed him. I feel like maybe somebody recommended him years ago and I just wrote it off because of the UFO stuff, but absolutely doggedly blew my mind today and yesterday. I was just like, I gotta dig back into this stuff. But I did definitely understand it from a really fundamental state. Especially, I was thinking of you, Buddy, because of your sketches and your understanding of it, those similar shapes, but this recursive layering. But what he really explained is that every node, every Planck point is really matters in the whole grand scheme of things, and the array matters. And I'm kind of stumbling over it because there was so much data, but goodness, I was if you can really watch his stuff and kind of gather a ton more, and then kind of come back and see some of the sketches I've made and some of the stuff Buddy has done. I mean, all the stuff Buddy has done, and you can really start to see the shape of our universe, but also understand a lot more and start deriving more about what happens when our plasma body leaves our physical body. And even the stuff he was talking about typically would turn me off, but because he's so articulate and really has everything to back it up, I was like completely buying it for a while. Yo-Yo Fantasy Ecstasy, what's up, my bro? I guess we got a cloudy night tonight. Let me go check our moon one more time. Play a song here for a second. Back in a moment. Alright, hopping back in here. I see Dr. Ayad. How's it going? Great to see you. Welcome. Music, magic, and fantasies. Let's see, I'm trying to read from a distance. Let me get a bit closer here. Yeah, it's perfectly dark out now. Got clouded out like crazy. But I feel like that's going to clear in a little bit. So let's bear with it and we'll get our due. I see Just K today. Hey y'all. Welcome. Let me see what y'all wrote. So Astralis says, I joke about bubble explanation. But my first reference to them was Carlos Castaneda, right? And doing dream work, seeing and jumping bubbles or consciousness. Think things do all work that way. I absolutely agree. Yeah, fantasy's clouded over. We'll see. Thanks for your stream. Watched it at 2 a.m. Hell yeah, love that. It was a fun stream yesterday. Sang my heart out. It was fun. Maybe we'll do a little bit more tonight. Buddy is saying, our sensory organs are all perceive reality in logarithmic scale invariant, in a logarithmic scale invariant manner, because reality is composed logarithmic scale invariantly. I think I understand that. I mean, I do understand it visually, but, I agree. It's just, man, today, all the different, like, the terminology, I just want to know it all. But it did feel very familiar to me. There was nothing that Dan said that I hadn't considered maybe, but that's not true. There were things that he said that I hadn't considered, but everything that he kind of implied made sense to me from having studied Electric Universe and Ken Wheeler and all the different theories together combined. And of course, I used to be very deep into the ufology and alien mythology stories, so I'm very aware of, the ancient seeding race and Enki and Enlil and Hermes and the what is it? There was a Stargate program, the jump gates. That was all part of the whole alien thing. There were the Anunnaki. I'm getting lost here, but let me think about what I want to say. So yeah, all the ancient races. I'm talking about how they seeded Earth with this information. And this to me, always kind of sounded a little bit like this fantasy of needing this higher dimensional order in order to rescue us somehow. And I avoided that because I think that the human race is very powerful. We are a manifestation of the etheric plasma, and therefore we are it. We are not separate from it. But because Dan Winter is explaining these things mathematically, I started to think about, okay, what if there were these races that seeded Earth and there is a galactic federation and all these things are true, but I'm not completely bought in because of certain biases that I have. But I really have never really discussed it. I haven't discussed it in years in a serious manner, but he definitely got me thinking. Let's see. Phase conjunction, thank you. Yeah, coherency, I mean, the way I imagine it is this kind of sympathetic resonance, but I also see it in terms of these shapes where, from the center of the eye, you have this cone emanating in a spiral, and the spiral reaches a plasma bubble, and then beyond that, it kind of emanates and extends from there, these plasma bubbles and layers, and then you interact with these bubbles, creating an additive layer and push the bubbles out, and you have this closer layer that's now the echo of your previous moment, this additive multiplicative structure. But then you add this array and this mathematics behind it, this what he was talking about, where you're multiplying Planck against the golden ratio, and also something with the speed of light. I'm going to practice that, figure that one out, but it just makes sense to me that there's the structured array as these shells emerge. If you've seen the Sapphire Project, or you've seen Auric Field, or any number of things, you kind of understand this organized, layered structure that emerges around every point, and of course the human body and every large structure as well, recursively. So, let's see. Multiples of the golden mean, right? Fantasy says, I got the capture card in the mail today. Hell yeah. Are you the 4K 60S external? Because that's what I'm using right now, and I finally got it working correctly. Bugged me out for a while because it was not connecting to OBS. Turns out it was the HDMI cable was cracked. So it's really good. It's going to start streaming, but sadly Uncle Sam wants another 4,000 from me. So geez, yeah, taxes just hit me too. I don't even want to think about it, but they are paid and I'm done. Yeah, I mean, rarely do I say go and check this channel out for that. I don't want to say that. I do say go check out channels. So I don't want to lie, but definitely Dan Winter. Give it a fair shake. Give it an open-minded listen, and then kind of when we talk about these things here with Electric Universe and the toroidal field and the hourglass shape, the hypotrochoid, the Birkeland filament, the Markland currents, electric voltage causing all sorts of things from geology to consciousness to DNA mutation, the spiral. Where does the spiral come from? This coaxial twisting Birkeland filament. And what's even cooler is what Dan Winter was talking about, where like you kind of meditate on this coherent tunnel, using our light, our chakra thread, the filament coming through the top of our head and going into the earth, but then imagining in our mind's eye, our pineal gland, and strengthening it, kind of, projecting our consciousness into this very structured spiral that we see, as a cone or an emanating spiral or closing spiral, but the mortal coil, really. And it's not just our life and our consciousness, but everything, the way we see and touch and interact with the universe, and the way everything interacts with us is also working in the same geometry. So anyway, let me see if our moon is back. I had this kind of on the clouds right here so we could see something, but I'll be back in a moment. Keep talking. All right, hopping in here. Say what's up to Amy G. Welcome. Hope you're having a beautiful night. And just to answer quickly, not quickly, just to answer Buddy over here about this Enki and Enlil stuff. So I haven't practiced or been reading these ancient texts for a while, so forgive me if I sound ignorant when I mention them, but I do remember studying them deeply and thinking, again, this idea of aliens, let's say extraterrestrial races, whether they look like animals or anthropomorphized insects, or whether they look like human beings, coming from Alpha Centauri or through a wormhole in Orion. I'm speaking matter-of-factly because, like, let's just be open-minded about this. Some people really, really believe this is true. So let's say these people or these extraterrestrials came and they modified humans on Earth to be able to do certain things by alchemically changing our DNA structure, or by mating, simply by mating with Earthlings, creating, a second, third, fourth, fifth generational, mixed race. And these are where all the stories may come from in terms of the reptilians, in terms of archons and draconians and the greys, abductions, on and on. There's a huge tome of videos and literature all about the UFO phenomenon, aliens, and I've spent a fair bit of time investigating that myself and just trying to understand that from a physical and rational perspective. So I want to preface it with that, because the way Dan Winter talks about it is very matter-of-factly, like it's completely true. But again, the stuff that he was talking about in terms of bubbles and fields and longitudinal coherent gravity waves and how light works, how gravity works, how fields work, completely on board with this guy. Like, I've never seen anyone explain it quite so well. So for him to be also completely bought into this idea of ancient alien tech and so on and so forth makes me really want to keep an open mind about some of these topics once again. Because at one point I really did believe about all the stories about Thoth and Enlil and Enki, and the stories about the Egyptian gods, and how there were the Anunnaki, and how Planet X existed, and all the stories that you find on YouTube. I actually followed through with most of them down to as far as I could reach before they turned into just either the same video or the same ideas regurgitated. A lot of you have seen this channel for a long time, and I've talked about most of these topics. So, I don't know, it's a bit tough. What's up, Plain Truth? How's it going? Setting up for a lunar shoot tonight. That's awesome. Looking ethereal. I got tons of clouds. It was looking really nice, but I'm just sitting here letting it move. I'm not going to chase it down. So thanks for hanging out with me for a non-moon for a moment while I talk about my head being implosion, this idea of implosion. So really, these nodal points in our field, these foci, is what Dan Winter refers to as our conscious reality, these vortexes that we create. And he talks about pentagons and hexagons. I think that was the point he really hooked me. He explained this idea of the mudras and how you hold your fingers together and you create these shapes, and how pentagon, pent up, is this kind of, implosion or this movement, and how a hexagon is the stability structure, and how pentagons move into hexagons, like I've shown with Mare Serenitatis and Tranquillitatis side by side, like molecules being hexagonal adjacent to a pentagon, pentagonal shapes. And this is actually fundamental to our reality. Like, there's absolutely no doubt that this is how it actually looks, and Dan Winter has the math to show that it works this way. I think you'll agree, buddy, right? Like, it's undeniably these shapes, these spirals, the pineal gland, pine cones, and between these points you have this hourglass shape, you get the toroidal band, you get the pinched plasma tubes, spirals, you get a nodal structure, the Earth grid is the ley lines. This is all real stuff. So To that degree, I do believe it. And the stories about the ancient alien stuff is actually, probably worth another read now that I've gone all these years without really looking into it. Well, that's not true. Let's think about it like this. All the technology is very possible. That's the main thing. Now, are the hidden programs like jump gates, where people sit in a magnetic room, or have a Stargate portal where they go to other galaxies? I mean, this is the type of stuff where it starts to fringe upon, like, if you really start accepting that that's the way it is, then it just opens up all these possibilities, and it also becomes kind of intimidating too, because you start to think, like, all this stuff is being hidden, the Large Hadron Collider, on and on and on. And like, where are the wormholes on Earth and portals and stargates? So it's kind of crazy where it got me thinking. But let's play some music here, and I'll kind of get back to this in a little bit. But if you want to go check it out, Dan Winter, that's my little ramble on it. I'm definitely going to keep watching and listening to the stuff he's talking about. And the group of people around him is also quite amazing. All right.
Do you know why I've been beaten from the heart? I know, no lie. I've been thinking about you all night. Why? No why. I've been waiting for your white light. No why. Thinking that you should be mine. So call me up, and let's get down, So call me up, and let's get down. Oh, you send me messages across the cosmic network, and you send me pictures from across the astral plane, and you send me cryptic kisses across the matching network. So call me up, and let's get down. So call me up, and let's get down. Je t'attends, maman, insaturée, assis dans mon canapé cinéma, agitant la boussole, avec son billet. Je suis là, même dans l'avant, l'un des chaque jour. Je t'attends, avec les mecs, c'est rêvé. C'est l'amour magnétique, c'est l'amour magnétique, c'est mon amour magnifique. Cool running. So call me up, and let's get down. Got enough, no doubt. Steal to have it all. I create everything that I want. Every day, some hardly live, which is wrong. Style says we suffer on what you give if you could synthesize to every dream. I think it goes in heavy souls and trickles down the hemispheres into machines. Collective iris, the machines. Collective iris. Oh my love, I'm making a statement. When you arrive, no other will do. What dreamers buy of love is misshapen. Play me for the crown. I know it's up to you. Pull me up in two. And if it was your midnight collection, I know you're distracting me. This dream we held in false last night. I love geometry will leave. See blazing, get high up in space, man. Receiver of love, believer in something. My music blazes, get high up in space, kid. Receiving your love, believing in something. My music blazes, get high up in space, man. Receiving your love, believing in something. My music blazes, get high up in space, kid. Receiving your love, receiving nothing. My music blazes, receiving your love.
walking back in here. Me expecting a simple answer and getting poetry from Buddy over here. Love it. Every stargate is where you make a mudra. Every time you twist your golden fingertips, the rope whips and the fabric dances like an orchestra of magic. Amen. That's beautiful, and I get that. I was sitting there playing with my fingers and just thinking about these strands of energy between them, and it made me think of the Celestine Prophecy that I read 20 years ago, and it made me think of a lot of different topics that I've studied over the years. It's just, it's not that, you know, it's tough to make a decision to believe all these stories, but I just want to stay with the coherent wave structures and the field of consciousness around each and every point in our universe. Makes way more sense to me, the extended mind versus consciousness and memory is inside the body only. So that's a pretty big fundamental thing, that whether or not I believe in ancient aliens, that makes sense to me. All right, let's see. So, yeah, Miguel is recommending I do social media. I mean, I've thought about this channel and how many people are on it, and it's actually very funny that it still says 12,500 people are subscribed to this channel, yet pretty much every show is still about 10, 15, 20, 25 people. We've hit a couple before, during maybe the eclipse and the conjunction. There were maybe 100, 200 people. I think the solar eclipse was maybe close to like 800 people at one point. That was probably the most I've ever had. And the Venus transit back in 2015, that was definitely a few hundred people were in the chat. But I always think about it in terms of this type of content is so complicated, and even though I feel like I understand it and I try and convey it in a clear way, it's so hard to do it with so many people. So I feel like maybe this small audience here is a much better way to disseminate this type of information and talk about it in a way that's very calm, where I can read everybody's comment. And even with the small crowd here, sometimes I miss comments and people get super pissed at me because I miss one comment or a name. And yeah, that has happened over the years, oddly. But we got our moon back, and we got a show. Let's center this thing. Of course. It's funny how this new camera just like has opened up tons of new problems that I didn't have before. I think we're clear. There we go. So let's keep going here with the tunes. It's called Midnight Moon. We're closing in on it. Seems appropriate. I got a drink here too.
Maybe right with a midnight moon. Maybe right of a midnight moon. It's the light of a midnight moon. Maybe right. Oh,
play some tunes. Feels like I've talked enough about the esoteric for a moment. Let's just get down and dirty with some rock and roll. Ooh, I wanna do a thing or two to help my soul. I wanna sing a song about my rock and roll. Maybe I'll do better up here. Maybe I'll do better. Do I want to come up? Do I need to get down? Whatever. Oh, Buddy says, does TakeBackSpace want to do a presentation for the 2022 Electromagnetic Universe World Expo, pre-recorded or in person? Wow, that's a really kind offer. I'll have to think about, but thank you. That's actually enticing. I've been wanting to get back into it. It's really just a question of time, right? It's just being able to articulate things the way I want to, create a presentation in a way, like, even though doing TakeBackSpace is very complicated, it's still more manageable than putting together a full presentation about what I'm talking about, as you can tell, because I stumble over a lot of information, and you just need to sit and do it, but I have not found time. Maybe this summer is that window, but I'll definitely keep it in mind, buddy. Thank you. When do I have to? I would probably do it pre-recorded with no footage of me. It would probably just be like footage of things. It would look good though. Have some killer music, if that's okay. I sound okay? Is it too reverby? Let me know. Last night I feel like I might have had a little too much reverb to drink. So let me try it a bit more dry tonight. Actually, maybe this guitar has a bit too much reverb. Let me pull it back. That's cool. That's cool. That's cool. That's cool. Swept you up when married your high school lover. Said you want some perfect life, no other. I never had that in me. But your mama came and swept you up when married your high school sweetheart. White picket fence, no wonder. Never had that envy. Oh, mama, I've been waiting for you so long, dear. Oh, you traveled across seas for me. You left me crawling on Amsterdam beaches. I waited on that hotel floor for you. Waited on that floor for you. Oh. is happening? Long time, long time. Lovely to see you in the chat room. Just a very languid session. Last night I had all the energy. Tonight I'm just grooving slowly on the dense vibration of our wonderful world. It's feeling good, but definitely been partying this weekend a little bit. Linda Luna. What song should I play here? Let me play something. Alright, I'm gonna keep practicing this one because I think it's the best thing I've written this year, maybe. Rocket drift, you let me share your armor. Left here with this painted from my own father. Just inseparable like motion and desire. All your scars are really faded, won't retire. Just believe our soul in this traveling. Just believe your soul in this traveling. Past the palm on the electric solar sphere. My descriptions of your life was near. Then you were gone, I was a painted lens, and we was erased from time. No weird as mine. No way, just believe a soul endless traveling. Yeah, just believe your soul endless traveling. Picked up another cause, got mountains across my head. I know it just plays a part. I know it's supposed to end. Sleep with the name we call. We sing in the mother tree. I believe me when I say that we'll be here again. You gotta believe me when I say that we'll be here again. Alright. Finally catching a live stream. Is it already that far over? That's crazy. So to the right is my window. That's why I'm keeping the moon on the left for a little bit. We had to deal with so many clouds, and now it's clear, but it's far over. Underneath my oak tree, standing by the summer set, I lie before you. It's time for something new. I'll reach into flow, feel. It's time for something new. I'll reach into the view. And I sense your presence like a nuclear resonance. I sense your presence like quantum entangled resonant interference patterns. Like the love that I knew as a child, interference pattern. If I once was gold, and then I turned to powder when I once was old. placed me at the center of my pyramid, a whole building inside a sand dune made by silly putty man breaking down sirens. Don't call me out for meaning, I ain't dead yet. I am sound of mind, speaking silent tongue. Silent. Boxes, your infinite toxin, all got something to say. Indestructible ideas are vanishing, aimlessly wandering away. The nation prowls insatiable into our nighttime activities. Your liberties, what can you say? You're my sister and I love you forever. Say you're my brother and I love you forever. Say you're my sister and I love you forever. Just find time, just find time, just find time, just find time. You're my sister and I love you forever. I knew the sun, the elements of fallen graces. Look out, all we love is from the one, the healing bones and body races. Would you tell me what you like? I got so much love for you, and you, and you, and you, and you, and you. I say, you're my sister and I love you forever. Just find a time, just find a time, just find a time, just find a time. You're my brother. I'll say, love you forever. It is a little different without all the reverb. That's all right. It's all right. While Vicky says the channel setting for subscribers only that shows, is that YouTube or a setting? I think that's just for people to comment, which I don't know. I think it was on by default and I just let it ride because I feel like the people who show up are all subscribed. If you're not, I guess, I don't know. What do y'all think about that? I just saw it on, so I left it. Buddy says, a presentation from you properly put together would be amazing and blow a lot of people away. You know more than a lot of other people about this wonderful electric universe. Hey, that's really sweet. I think you're brilliant, so you saying that is a huge compliment. I need the pre-recorded video by no later than July 1st. All right, that gives me a little bit of time. Let me think about it really seriously because I definitely have been considering this at least the understanding of consciousness, because I feel like this is like one of those really big ideas about the extended mind that Rupert Sheldrake, I feel like he's sitting in a room by himself screaming at people, being like, please believe me. But, you know, seeing Dan Winter and his ilk and knowing that there are people out there who do get it is great. But I feel like I appreciate what you're saying, and I think I do have a perspective that is probably valuable. So, especially when it comes to lunar geology, which I love. Let's play a few more tunes here. That was fun doing the reverb thing. It sounds so cool, but it's easy to overdo. What about a different song? All right, this is a tough one called Delicate, but tough one called Delicate. I'm gonna see if I can make it happen. Okay. Will you so finally you dedicate my body? Everything is at the ready. Don't mill about it. Don't give us no love. Heavy metal outside. Does it seem like look at the crime? And we gotta make it through this doorway. Gonna be a star this time. Going up, are you ready? We're going up, are you ready? We're going up, are you ready? And we're falling to the light of your world. Then I thought I saw the symbol, dark night, drawn light, oh goddess of Leviathan, burn bright. And through this doorway I'm standing, all this cursed light is no way. I'll stay alive, I'll stay alive, I'll stay alive, so blind with you. Tell it on this ring. Sing the spiral to love. The laws of nature outside. Doesn't seem like luck, no did the crime. I'm never falling if it's true, this doorway. Gonna be a star this time. Going up, are you ready? Going up, are you ready? We're going up, are you ready? Oh, yes, we're falling to the light. We're falling to the light. You will. And I thought I saw the symbol, dark night, golden light. Oh, goddess of Leviathan, we burn bright. All right. Moon's looking gorgeous. Again, I got it on the left side because the window's on the right. I'm just gonna start covering it soon. But it's looking beautiful. Tycho at the bottom right. Mare Imbrium looking nice and rich with its blues and greens. Maybe tomorrow night I'll do more of a lunar geology zoom in show. Try and stream tomorrow too. All right, that was Delicate. Let's do a different one here. I think the guitar could be a little louder. All right. we're happy together. I love you forever, but you're killing me. This is marijuana blues, so I need you. Every night I want to feel you. In the morning so cold, I believe you. Oh, Mary Jane, it's so plain. I got those marijuana blues. Don't let her fool you. She'll done for ya and take you to the place it'll do ya. Hail Mary Jane, it's so, just obey. Say don't cry. I love you while you still breathe. So you're all Mary Jane, just a vision so sincere. It's got that vibe. Oh hell yeah, buddy, that would be fun. I've also been thinking about trying to get out there and play more, or play at all. I haven't played live in years and years and years. Have we lost the moon again? I guess we have. That's how it goes. Let's keep, let's have fun with the song. Yeah, come on now. We wanna feel like the sun and the earth. I wanna feel like myself ain't to blame. I need to feel right. Oh, don't let us go by. I wanna feel right. The skies and the rain. I need to be nice, not laid to shame. I wanna feel high. Don't let it go by. Just like salt up here. Come on now. Know what I'm gonna say. Luna. Pulling up another song here. What haven't I played in a while? Oh, here we go. What about this one? Oh, you.
I believe we make it beautiful. Ooh. Channel my light, shining through the prism dagger, sharing my love, turning into pink and violet, healing my life, shining through the prism dagger, chilling in wine. It costs no matter what we do, chasm of life, shining through the prism dagger, losing my mind, crawling through the chasm dragon, chasing my eye, moving through the plasma dragons, rhythms in time, rhythms in time. Oh, 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 so you don't have to say a word, you can love other people, just forget about what you heard. I believe we make it beautiful. Do you believe there's another way? I believe there's a simple way. I believe there's another way. That you believe there's a simple way. How to make you stop? Oh, elliptical, can it be stopped? Elliptical, can it be stopped? Oh, elliptical. Oh, channel my light, shining through the prism dagger, losing my mind. That's a dragon, chilling in wine. Costs no matter what we do, the chasm of life, shining through the prism dagger, losing my mind. We call it through the chasm dragon, chasing my high. You're moving through the plasma dragon, rhythms in time. Your rhythms in time. Whoa, whoa. Rhythms in time. Whoa, whoa. Oh, oh. Alright, I'm gonna get myself a little smoke and kick my toes into the table. Well, let's see, maybe I can move the scope and get us a little bit of better view. Zoning out here, playing some songs, enjoying it, but definitely feeling like a very stony vibe up in the room tonight. Hope everybody's feeling great. Buddy says, I noticed that too, you should take it off. Oh, because a good 50% of my viewers are not subscribed, and that's typical with most channels. Yeah, that's a good point. Thanks for reminding me about that. I will definitely remove that. Can I do it live? Is that even possible? I don't know. I'll do it next time for sure. I guess it's been on this whole time. I just noticed it really. The other stream a couple of nights ago, I said, all right, let me leave it, because typically my subscribers are the ones who talk, but that's fine. Next time, take a little break here and adjust the scope, get a drink. What should we play? Something old. All right, coming at you, H Alpha from Vibration Theater.
A couple of tracks from Vibration Theater. I tried to adjust the scope a little bit, bought us a bit more time, but it's about to slip behind the window, and we shall lose the Luna for tonight. But this was a fun show. I talked a bunch early on when I first started, and then played a few tunes, so that's cool. I appreciate my Space Fam hanging out with me tonight. Wonderful to see Vicky, it's been a while, and Buddy, also always great to see you as well, and Dagger Spells, and also everyone else, Miguel, and who else we got? Aram Vorax, Astralis, Plain Truth, Amy G, Ayat Hassan, Camo. How are you? Did I miss anything from you? And thank you so much. I finally got back to you via email. Thanks for your patience. And Genghis Khan, Rain Song, Andrew Johnson, Falling Awake, Dave. Was Fantasy Ecstasy here? Hell yeah, Fantasy Ecstasy was here. Good deal. So I'll play a few more songs here, but let's see. Probably not live, but maybe do later. Yeah, for sure. I'll definitely do that. I think you said you have it when you first set up the stream, and I've just been using kind of the settings over and over, but I have to turn that off. But yeah, I'll do that, no problem. Little burb going across the moon. So yeah, definitely check out Dan Winter, and always check out Rupert Sheldrake. Support him while he's still alive, so he doesn't just drift off into nothingness, because he really says some profound stuff and has been saying it for so long. And of course, check out Eileen McCusick, another reminder. Human Biofield, Resonance, Tuning Technology, Thunderbolts Project, Buddy Dougherty, brilliant, and many others doing a lot of great work. Honestly, I'm stumbling across so many people via the Dan Winter connection, but again, it starts to get into that whole UFO world, and not just UFO, but of course extraterrestrial technology, Drinvalo Melchizedek, and all that sort of stuff. And I don't know. I mean, today when I was listening to him, I was thinking, I guess I've been away from it for so long that I can look at it with new eyes and try and see it from this plasma physics perspective. And a lot of the stuff he was saying made sense to me. And a lot of it, I really am not ready to completely buy into just yet. So I'll try and stream again tomorrow, Monday. It's already Monday, but tomorrow night around 10 or 11, we'll do a little stream here. Get our waiting gibbous moon. Hopefully it'll be nice again. And I've been enjoying playing live for y'all. So let's ride this out on, what should we do? There's Sleepless Rider. Yeah, let's do Sleepless Rider, and then something else I'll pick out.
Yes,